Hello everybody, I hope it's working. I do all my tests and then sometimes it still doesn't work, so I'm never sure. The video seems a bit choppy to me. I hope that's just my phone being silly. Let's see. Well, it looks a bit choppy on my computer as well, so hopefully it'll buffer itself out. Otherwise, it'll be a short video if the internet's not cooperating. It is now we're at 30 seconds. I don't know. The timing is always scary because I don't want to be late and I'm sitting here waiting. And then I'm like, what am I waiting for? I should just press go, right? It's okay. Nothing important is happening in this 1 minute. And if you miss it, you'll be okay, right? So, hello. I'm Ashley Bratzel. And I design crochet patterns, which I'm hoping is why you're here, because you like my crochet patterns, but maybe you don't know me. Maybe YouTube suggested this, which I highly doubt. I don't think YouTube is in the business of suggesting my stuff because I think people only find me through me. Instagram also not in the business of suggesting me to people. My reach, according to their little statistic thing, is down by 68% this month. And I don't really know why, and I don't know how to fix that. And I'm pretty much ready to just give up on that. My Facebook reach is also down 50-something%. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm trying to tell the people and I'm talking to the void because the platforms don't show me to people. It's really annoying. If you want to connect with me, the best way, according to everything I read, is to make sure you have a newsletter mailing list, because then these are the people who are saying, I want to connect to you. And you control the mailing list, which is great in theory, except for that my mailing list broke last month. And maybe you already know, because if you were on my mailing list, you would have gotten an email saying, this is a problem. And if you were part of the broken, you wouldn't have gotten that email, right? It's great for communicating. I also complained about it in my Facebook group, so maybe you saw it there. But basically what happened, okay, this is like sort of crochet related. It's me related. Oops, that's my microphone. I hope it's working. Hello. I could test it, but then it might do a feedback thing. Oh no, it's on. Okay, I heard a noise. So I have the video here. Good morning. I didn't know that it was going to pop up there. I thought I had to have this to see the words. So I have my computer beside me and my phone doing the live. You can lurk as long as you like. That would be fine. I'm glad you can hear me, Alexandra. And I just like to talk to myself is really the thing. And then I just put it on a video. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll try to make it short because I know I can babble too much. But the website newsletter fiasco was basically the thing that has stressed me out for about a month. And it happened to also come right at tax season. And I do my own taxes, so I was a little bit stressed out already. And my whole family got sick for approximately 3 weeks. So it's been a great time. And I was supposed to be preparing for this Designaversary month, and guess who didn't prepare much? Because, something has to get dropped. When you got all the balls in the air, something has to get dropped, and that's basically what dropped is my Designaversary promotions. So the promotions are kind of happening as I create them. There's no plan. I have no plan. So, okay, here's the story. If you go back about a month, let's go back 2 months. Everything was fine. Everything was good. I was happy. I mean, I still get sad days, but I'm doing crochet. I'm doing art. My family is here, and we're all happy together. Everything is good. And then MailChimp, who is my newsletter subscriber at the time, decides, hey, we're going to change our subscription plan. So I was fitting in their free subscription plan, which means that I could have however many clients and you could send out so many emails per month. And they said, I think the number was like 2,500 people and you could send out 5,000 emails or something like that. I'm not sure about the numbers, but that's something big like that. And I had like 1,500 subscribers and I send out 2 or 3 emails because I mostly forget that I should send them out. So they said, okay, in 3 days, so not a whole lot of notice, we're changing our subscription plan and no longer will you be able to use the free one. If you'd like to continue to access our services, you have to pay. And the minimum, the next set up for me, because of how many subscribers I had, the minimum I'd have to pay is $80 a month. And you have to buy a year subscription at a time, so you pay it all at once. And I'm in the middle of tax season, which I owe taxes because I'm a business, which blows my mind. Like, it was supposed to be a hobby and then it turned into a business. And now I owe the government tax money because I'm selling stuff, which is like, gee, thanks. So I have taxes to pay and suddenly we get sick. So I'm not putting out my patterns as much. My husband is sick. He's not working. He's only working part-time right now because he's supporting me. He's helping with the kids. So he's sick. I'm sick. The kids are sick. And of course, everyone takes turns. It's like 3 days of this kid and then 3 days of the next. And I'm doing all of them, which means like I basically crashed at the end of all of it. So there's no way I was going to put out that much cash for this mailing list, especially when, according to the internet, there's tons of mailing list places and a lot of them are free. I like free. Free is good to me. So I thought, okay, I'll figure out something else. So I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to go find somewhere else. And everywhere I tried to go, even if it was a paid plan, which I was willing to pay some money, I just think $80 a month is a bit outrageous. And if you go look at the other plans, it is. So I'm willing to pay, but I just don't know which one to do. So I'm doing some research. Mitch is trying to help me. He makes this big spreadsheet. And basically the conclusion that we came to is if I get a different website host, then there might be an email attached to that, a professional email. So I was using MailChimp and a Google email address. And according to all these other newsletter things, you shouldn't use a Google address. You should use a branded address that matches your website. And my website is ashleslint.com. So I'm supposed to be sending it from email or newsletter or Ashley or whatever at ashleslint.com. But in order to get that, you have to pay for an email subscription somewhere. And they're relatively inexpensive, so that's not a problem. Okay, I'll sign up for this. And then I learned that it doesn't actually matter. MailChimp, newsletter, SendLayer, I don't know what the names are. I looked up too many. All of those places have limits. They'll say you can have this many emails and this many subscribers, but what they really suggest when you have a professional email, the problem is the email user that you're using. So with my website, it came with like a free trial for 1 month of their Titan email. And I tried using that. And it turns out that Titan has limits as well. And they will only allow a maximum of 300 emails a day. And when you have 1,600 newsletter subscribers, that means it's going to take me a week to send out a newsletter, which means nothing that I send out can be urgent or timely because the coupon codes would be expired. So then I had to look into SMTP and stuff like that. It was just like blowing my mind. I'm basically dying in internet. So I had to do more research, and I like doing research. I just don't like having to do it all at once. So I was researching email hosts, website hosts, the combination of will I get an email with that website host, newsletter subscribers, and this MSMTP something, all at the same time while like freaking out, well, trying not to freak out, that we have like really minimal income coming in because we've been sick. Plus we had to put a lot out because of the taxes. And my husband is trying to help me like breathe and just like it'll sort itself out. It'll be okay. But I'm like, my mind is just like freaking out. And if you've met me in real life, maybe you know, I get kind of anxious sometimes. Hello, crochet therapy, right? So yeah, the crochet wasn't therapying me. That's not a word. The crochet wasn't helping because I didn't have time to crochet. There were days that I had no crochet time. I would spend hours on the computer doing this research, dealing with sick kids, trying to sleep it off because I was sick too. It was horrible. And I think I figured it out. I got a new host and I got my email and I was ready to go. And then the new host, one of the reasons I picked them is because they claim that it's easy to migrate your website. I have a little sneeze in my nose. It's tickling me, and it's bad manners to sneeze on camera. I have nowhere else to go. So when I sneeze, you can just laugh at me. Yeah, definitely overwhelmed. Definitely. It was bad. And on top of that, you're trying to keep up with emails because people are like, hey, something's not working with this pattern, or hey, what do I do when this? And I have constantly getting Etsy emails. I can't download my digital pattern. Yeah, Etsy doesn't allow you to do it on the app. I don't know why. They don't tell you right away. I don't know why. So like at least 3 times a week, I have to tell someone how to get their patterns. At least 3 times a week, I have to help somebody with a pattern problem. I didn't know it's bad manners if you can't help it. You mean the Etsy thing? I don't think it's bad manners. Oh, the sneeze. Yeah, see, it's delayed. The sneeze. Well, I think if you know the sneeze is coming and you were talking to like a group of people, wouldn't you like turn away? I don't know. Maybe I just have bad human manners and not just bad TV manners. It's gone now, so maybe I won't sneeze. So I tried to get my website moved. And if you're going to have a website, here is my big advice. Thank you, Alexandra. Don't sign up with WordPress.com. WordPress websites, yeah, that's probably what I'll have to do if I sneeze. Like, I don't know. WordPress websites is like a big thing. If you've looked into having a blog or a website, especially like if you want to sell something, people talk about Shopify and Wix and WordPress and I don't know what else. So WordPress is like the language that the website can use, and WordPress.org is actually a free open source platform thingy-dooey, like the language. You can put this on any website host. So GoDaddy, Dreamhost, Hostinger, GatorHost, or whatever it is, they all can use WordPress. But if you sign up as the host WordPress.com, hosting the WordPress.org, and then you want to move that WordPress.org to a different host, you will run into problems. And that's what happened to me. So WordPress.com probably caught me with like a free website for a year or something, and I signed up, and it was a bad idea because then you're stuck with them forever. And the better thing about WordPress.com is that they limit what kind of plugins you can access. You have to pay extra to access certain themes and plugins, and on these other hosts, it's just included. It's free. They're free plugins. Just of course you can use them, no problem. So, for example, Hostinger was the first website I tried to use, or the first host. There's too many words, right? Oh, goodness. Hostinger says for 1 year, and you always have to pay, like, you can sign up for a monthly plan, but then you pay more per month. And if you want to pay less per month, you have to pay for the whole year. And sometimes you can sign up for 3 years or 5 years or however many options they have. So on this Hostinger app, yeah, right, it's like things you didn't know you had to know. On Hostinger as a host, they can have a WordPress site, and they offer this free migration, easy. They advertise it will take you 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, I have 10 minutes. I can do this. So I pay for my year's worth of hosting, which is only like 83. I can't remember if it was Canadian or American. If it was 83 American, then it gets translated and it's like 115 or something. But might have been 83 Canadian. I'm not even sure. For the whole year. And I currently, like, this is embarrassing. I currently pay $440 a year on WordPress. And that's because after I had their minimum free year, then they were like, well, if you want to keep using this plugin, you have to pay this. And if you want to add this, you have to add this. And if you want to do this, you have to pay this. So that's the level I got up to. I pay over $400 for 1 year of website hosting. And it felt expensive, but I didn't really have any other options at the time because I didn't know how to migrate my website. I tried this 2 years ago. And you may, if you've been following me that long, you will remember that my website was down for almost a week. And it was bad. So I didn't want to do that again. So I thought that I knew what I was doing. I pick Hostinger, I pay my $80. I want to do their 10-minute migration. I start typing in my stuff, and they're like, oh, you're hosted by WordPress.com. You can't use our easy migration tool. You'll have to do it manually. So not only does WordPress cost more and limit my options, they also lock you in and make it difficult to get out. So don't sign up with them. That's my raving review. Hostinger was inexpensive and claims to have all these help desks and whatever. And every time I tried to ask for help, they were like, we usually respond in 10 minutes. And every single time it was over an hour and a half that I was waiting. So by then, other things are happening in the house, and I don't have actually 3 hours to sit at the computer at a time. Even when my husband's home, things happen in my house much quicker than that. I don't have that much chunk of time. So today the kids are gone. There's no one else in the house but me, which is why I can do this. And their help desk was infuriating, and they did not help me pretty much at all. And they would go round in circles and round in circles because first thing they would always tell me is, oh, I see you tried to set up this website, but your DNS, I don't know, maybe there's some more fancy words, your DNS isn't pointing to us. And I would say, I know, because that's what I learned 2 years ago when I tried to transfer my website, and they said the first thing you do is point your DNS to the new host. So basically, all of my data is stored on WordPress.com's servers. And my domain, ashleislint.com, that I own, you own like a number online, right? The numbers point to them, and they say, when you type this, you're going to go see here. And if I type those numbers differently to point to my new host, but I haven't put my data there, guess who gets to see no website? And then once I do move my data there, because it's a WordPress.com and it wasn't the .org, there will be data loss, which means my links weren't working, my photos weren't there. Sure, all the blog posts were technically there, but the formatting got moved, and basically it was unusable. And I cannot fix 3 years worth of links in a small amount of time. So that's why 2 years ago when I tried to do this migration thing, my website was down for like a week, and I had tried Host Papa, and they basically were like, yeah, that's just how it works. And I was like, well, put it back. I quit then. So they canceled it, and we went back to WordPress.com. So it was like a week of down and nothing changed. And I was still on my expensive host, and I was mad at Host Papa. So then I tried this year with Hostinger, and they basically tried to tell me to do the same thing. And I said, no, I'm not changing those numbers until the website looks pretty, because I know, I've read enough that you can set up, I can move my data there, and I can make sure the links work before I tell customers to come look at it. You don't open up a brand new Walmart while you're still renovating. You put the stuff on the shelves first. And they would just go around in circles. I think they probably have a checklist that they are meant to go through, and they would just go through the checklist, and it didn't matter what I was saying. So I was extremely frustrated with them. And every time I tried to ask for help and I finally get someone help, then something would happen. So then the next time I ask for help, it's a new person, and I have to explain it all again. And I would have to tell them once again that this is what I'm trying to do. And they never understood. And I was like, am I just speaking the wrong language? Like, I think I know what I'm doing to a point. Obviously, I'm not a complete expert. But it was like, I was so frustrated. So I started a new website. And I have Hostinger as my host, and now it's not live, but it will be ashleibrotzeldesigns.com, and that's where I am hopefully setting up my own web store. So you can buy my patterns on Ravelry, you can buy them on Etsy. I tried Lovecrafts, I have like 4 on there. The uploading process is annoying. They make it simple, but it's really only simple if you are writing the pattern as you're uploading it. Like all the details that they're asking for just drive me bonkers. Same with Ribbler. They're both the same. Etsy is like, put the file, put a description. Whatever kind of description you want to put it, and then you're done. Oh, and the price. Ravelry, same thing. Put your price, put your link, put your description. And I copy and paste, and it's easy because I'm not rewriting everything 100 times. Lovecrafts is like, link to the yarn you used, link to the hook you used, tell people the gauge, okay, click next, tell people this, click next, and I can't copy and paste everything, and I have to click next 100 times. It takes too long to upload 300 patterns at once, which is why I only have like 5, and then I gave up because You also then have to wait for them to approve it. And then you have to make sure that the files is this and that. And they've only let one file, so I have to join them together. And it's just like when I started this and I wanted to do art, like really that's what I started. I wanted to draw my art on a chart that happens to turn into crochet. I didn't want to spend hours on the computer. I wanted to crochet, and that's what is overwhelming at this point. I feel like I need to cut back on what I'm doing, because it's just, I post to Instagram and they're like, oh, you have, I don't know, 6,000 followers. 300 people will see that. 100 people will notice that it was even you. Great, thanks, that's helpful. Oh, you have 8,000 members in your Facebook group. When you post something, 100 people will see it. Great, that's fabulous. So I'm spending hours trying to get my message out there and people can't see it. So I'm just like, quit, done, like cut that off. It's not working. My website stuff drives me bonkers. Oh, I didn't even finish my website story. I don't know if you even care, but you're here and you're listening, so I'm going to tell you. So that website was Hostinger. It's ashleybrotzeldesigns.com, and it's not live yet because I have to finish uploading my PDFs. But I think I used some migration tool from Etsy, so it copied my descriptions. So I have like 300 listings, and the descriptions are there, but they don't have photos or PDFs attached to them. So that will take time, but not as much time as like copying everything or typing everything. So I think it will work. And I don't really know how many people are going to want to have my own web store. Like, is this worth my time? I don't know. But I see other designers have their own web stores. And I thought that since I have this website that I've now paid for, I may as well use it for something. But it still didn't fix my newsletter problem because I didn't have a new host for my ashleysLint.com website. So I went to a new host, Dreamhost. And their help desk was lovely. I have raving review for them because they actually talked to me like I was a human, and they heard what I was saying and responded to what I was actually saying and not what they assumed I was trying to talk about. And so I learned basically some of the problem before was that, they say easy migration, but it can't be for WordPress.com. So I knew that was a problem here, but I found a plugin and it copied all my things, and then you put it on your new one and you copy it all. Oh, and I could actually access the control panel. That was the other issue. I kept telling the people, I can't create my new website because I can't log in. It won't let me see a control panel. And they would show me a screenshot and say, it's working fine. Great. When I click all of those links that you've just given me, I get a sleeping robot and it tells me the page doesn't exist. I cannot access the, where you build your website. No, everything's fine. Okay, well, everything is not fine. Your help desk is useless. So moving to host, what am I on? Dreamhost. They talked to me nice. I was actually able to access the thing. I found a plugin that moved it. It copied everything over and it seems to be working. So I changed my numbers, the DNS things. And then it takes like 24 to 48 hours to propagate, which I was like, well, that's a long time. What about isn't the internet supposed to be instantaneous? Like our whole world, if you post something on your website and it takes longer than 0.03 seconds to load, you will lose sales. That is what they tell me. And I'm like, well, I'm not actually selling anything yet, but good to know. But that is instant. And you're telling me it's going to take 48 hours for these numbers? My goodness, that's like a lifetime in internet world, right? So that was a little bit surprising and frustrating. And because I moved it over, now my email that I just bought using ashleysLint.com is no longer attached. So I had to change all those numbers too, which I think I'm getting pretty good at. At least I know a lot more technical jargon, and I know how to set that sort of stuff up. And it was a big complicated process, but I think it worked. My domain name is owned in one place. My website is hosted in the other place. And then my new website is hosted in another place. And my email is hosted in another place. And it's all over the board. And that's not ideal, but that's the way it's working right now. Or at least I hope it's working. I did get a spam email this morning. So that tells me my newsletter should be working because someone can access my email anyways, right? So that's I don't know. I'm just drowning. And what I really want to do is get you guys new patterns and fix some of those old patterns. Like, I had these big plans for this year and it's already April, and I just feel like, how did that happen? Because I was going to do this, that, and the other thing, and now it's April, and that's basically the end of the year. That's basically where my brain goes. I'm like, it's already April and I have to design next year's squares and I won't have time to finish that. And I bought the yarn for this blanket and I bought the yarn for that blanket, but I haven't crocheted them yet because I was still finishing that blanket, and then I didn't get to finish this one. And then I was like published in a magazine, which I also got the dates wrong because, my brain's been kind of broke. But that was exciting, but it was like a hard timeline, and I had to get that blanket crocheted and mailed to the UK in January, right before we all got sick and all my website stuff happened. So I was already kind of behind on my normal stuff that I would normally do. So it was definitely feeling like I'm not doing this very well. I claim to be a designer, but I'm clearly failing and this is not going well. And I would just like bawl on my husband's shoulders that I should just quit and he should go back to working full time. And I'll just crochet in the corner, and this is just horrible and blah, blah, blah. And then the next day he'd be like, so how do you feel today? And I'm like, I'm going to try fixing it again. Like my moods were just crazy because I was just stressed. So I think we're past the worst of it. And that means that I can focus on my Designaversary, and it's half over already. And I don't know what else to do. Last year, I made these giant bundles. I don't know if you were around this long. I know I have new followers since last year, and some people missed it, even like it was a whole month of fun and people missed it, just like this month people missed stuff. So last year I had these giant bundles, and you could buy all of my large squares all at once, and it was quite a big discount. I don't know, it was 60% or something. And quite a few of you did buy these giant bundles. And that was great, except for that then the next month, basically nobody bought anything, which makes sense. You just spent all your money and you have like 50 patterns. Why would you need any more, right? But it didn't feel as exciting for me trying to balance creativity and like bills. So I was like, okay, this year I can't give away all of my patterns at such a great discount. So I can just do some. If I do some of my patterns at a big discount, that'll be good. And I have done quite a few giveaways this month as well. So I'm trying to balance, because I know like not everyone can pay money. I get it. So I'm trying to balance that. And the plan, which has been slow in coming because of all these other crazy things, is to get some more patterns on my website. Not for sale, like the bloggy part where you can read them for free on the website. And they won't include charts because charts are too easy to copy and paste to Pinterest and then spread all over the place. And then I basically lose rights to my pattern because it's everywhere. But the words, people don't seem to copy and paste those words as much. And then it brings people to my website. And I don't actually earn that much on advertising. I do have it set up, which I'm not sure if that translates into my new host or not. I was still waiting for things to propagate so I could check those things. So before, I made like $100 a year on advertising, which is clearly not enough to even pay for the website. And I don't know, like, I don't want to be, I'm sure you've seen those crochet sites where they're like, here, you can have this free pattern, but you click on it and then there's like a pop-up, and you scroll down, and then there's another pop-up, and you read one line and there's an ad, and then you scroll down more and there's an ad. And it's just like, I don't want to be that. If I want to offer you a free pattern on my website, I want you to be able to actually read it. And I want it to not be, hey, I earned $3 in advertising from you. Like, maybe I should earn more than 3 cents in advertising. I don't know. But I just don't want to be that kind of designer / blogger or whatever. I'm sure it works for them and they figured out the algorithms, but that's not where my energy is at. That's not what I want to do. So I want to do more crochet alongs. And to me, crochet along means that there has to be a free component, which isn't actually true. Apparently that's not how crochet alongs work. But when I hear crochet along, that's what I automatically think. That if we're going to crochet along together, everybody gets the opportunity, which means there's a free option. So I always have a free option, but that's not actually a rule. So other designers, they're not doing it wrong. They're just doing their own version, right? So the plan eventually, if I can get to my stuff on my list just keeps growing because I also get all these art ideas and I want to draw new things, but I haven't finished doing the old things. So balance, trying to work on balance. So the plan is to do free pattern on the website with a paid option on Ravelry and Etsy. So people who don't want to view it on the website or can afford it and like to support me, because I know there are people out there who do. They like supporting me and they buy my stuff, and I really appreciate that. So I give them the opportunity to buy it, but also the opportunity to read it. Here comes that sneeze again. Oh, it's gonna get... Please sneeze, just be done. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's not coming. I don't even know what it is. It might be, we bought a new plant. No, it's not coming. Okay, this is the worst video. Okay, we're gonna pretend I'm not gonna sneeze and I'm gonna finish what I was saying. I want to put patterns on my website for you to view and crochet with me. Buy the version that has the chart if you need the charts, and crochet with me because you support me financially. That is great too. Then I also have halfway done a video crochet along where I have recorded every single stitch of a certain pattern, and that is less fun for me because I have to crochet much slower, and then I also have to edit the video. And I picked a big pattern, which was maybe not the wisest choice. I should have picked something smaller. Like some of those websites that have videos and they're like, here's a sweater and you get a half-an-hour video to go with it. Well, that's because the entire sweater is made up of the same stitch. So they show it to you once and you have to repeat it, right? And my patterns are the same stitch. Here's a double crochet. Here's a double crochet. Here's a double crochet. However, because like interlocking crochet, when it's the double crochet and the chain, has to go in front or behind. So really you have to count every single stitch, and I can't just say do 4 in the back, because if I could just say do 4 in the back, you would be able to do it from the written pattern. You wouldn't need my video. So I'm not sure. So I'm not sure also if that amount of time and effort going into the videos will translate into real world support for my business / family, right? But I can at least do it now and then. So it's about halfway through that I managed to get the videos for that. And it looks like it's going to be, each video is over an hour. So I have at least 4 more hours of video, and that's the edited version. So it takes me about 2 hours to crochet that. And then it takes like 2 or 3 hours to edit that. So each 1 hour video is taking approximately 7 to 8 hours of work. And I'm not entirely sure that that translates into good stuff for my business. So we'll see. Anyways, so I am at part 4 of 8 based on how many rows are left. And also, I'm not sure I like the way I've done it, but it's too late because I'm halfway through and I don't want to waste that time. So even if it's not perfect, I would like to put it out. That is the art of good enough, which I don't like at all. I would like to be perfect. But that is the plan. So I will put out these good enough videos to go along with a crochet along eventually. And I soon will have some free patterns on my website. And hopefully soon I will also have a web store set up. And I don't know exactly how everything is going to work. But today the plan, after I'm done talking to you, which I'm going to be done soon because I have other stuff to do. I'm hoping to make sure that my newsletter is working. So that in the link, description, in the description there are 2 links. One link is today's promo code, which if you're watching today is great. If you watch any other day, that promo code is going to be expired. So that's only good for like 14 more hours. But the other link, the big Designaversary Giveaway link, is going to be good for this whole month. So at the end of April, that will close and I'll give away some patterns. And that one of the first things it asks you to do is sign up to my newsletter, which would be great if everything was working. But I think a lot of you, when you click, yes, I want to sign up, what it does, it asks you, are you sure? And that's to comply with GDPR, privacy something. I don't know exactly, but it's required. When you sign up for my newsletter, you have to say, put your email address and say, yes, subscribe. And then it sends you an email and says, did you mean to do this? So if I put in someone else's email address and they were like, whoa, what's this? They would ignore it and they would not get subscribed. So when you get that email that says, did you mean to subscribe? You have to tell it, yes, I meant to subscribe. Otherwise, you won't actually be subscribed. And so with my newsletter / website / email all kind of falling apart, not great timing for this giveaway where the first entry is that you can sign up to my newsletter. So I have a long list of people who have not confirmed subscriptions, and I'm not sure if it's because they entered fake emails just to get an entry, or if it's because my email wasn't sending and they weren't able to say, yes, I want to subscribe. So I'm going to have to fix that. Once you've subscribed, then it'll send you another email saying, great, I'm glad you're subscribed. Here's a coupon code and here's a free download code so that you can go get the Doctor Who blankets, which I would really like to crochet myself still. I have some of my Doctor Who squares lying about. I wanted to do the all-in-one blankets, but I have all these other things that I've been working on, and that one doesn't earn me any money probably, so it gets put on the back burner. Just like my knitting, it gets put on the back burner because I'm not a knit designer. And I'm like, well, maybe I should just be a knit designer, and then I could knit and claim it's work. I don't know. So that's on the list too. I will make tutorials and teach you how to crochet, like mosaic knitting. All of these can be mosaic knitting. So those are like all on the list. It's all on the list. Hopefully, what I've really done is plan for the future. So this month kind of sucks, and last month was really sucky, and my Designaversary maybe is not smoothly flowing as I had hoped. But once this hurdle is done and the website gets established, I won't have to change it again. And once my web store gets up, I won't have to deal with that again. I mean, I can add new patterns, but it should flow. It should do its own thing. So I'm hoping that the effort is worth it. And then I can get back to crochet, what I really want to be doing. I want to finish crocheting all the samples. Like I have, oh, where'd that square go? Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. That's all right. Oh no, I did grab the right one. So interlocking crochet, overlay mosaic crochet using the same chart, right? You can see that interlocking crochet has this mesh and you can actually separate the two layers. They're only joined where they switch colors. And when I use this one, mosaic crochet, it's flat. You can't get into anything. But I can adjust the charts so that this solid red section, instead of having all the polka dots on it, would be actually solid. I wanted to update a whole lot of patterns, so then you would actually have three options. You'd have interlocking, you'd have the original mosaic because it's there. I don't want to delete it. If I already put the work into it, it might as well stay. Plus, there are benefits to this version. It uses less yarn, it's much more flexible, and it still looks good in a lot of cases. So I'm not deleting that, but I would add a third option where it is solid, sort of like this one where, you know, there's actually no polka dots in the solid area. So I want to go back and update all of those. And at least for some of them, I would like to have all three samples in one photo. So most of my samples have been done by testers. And that's fine because they have a blanket here and they have a blanket here, but then you can't see them side by side like this. I can't show you side by side because that one's in Ohio and that one's in London. Like, I don't know where they are. Someone is in one of those places. So that's sort of where I wanted to focus this year, is making more samples that I can show off. But that was also because I wanted to do better with the Instagram and Facebook algorithms. And I don't know, I might be giving up on that. If I could just focus on, you know, I like my Facebook group because, you know, you could think of it as like a support group for people. They show up and they're like, I need support with this pattern, but it's really my support group. I don't have a lot of other places that I can go. As a designer now, I was booted out of a lot of crochet groups because designers aren't allowed. And then in a lot of places, it's like, okay, you can only post once a week And they're all different, so you have to pay attention, which really means I don't post there because I can't remember which day of the week it is. When you post there, you have to delete your link, or you have to only answer your link, or you can only put your link here, and there's all these rules. And then if somebody asks a direct question like, hey, does anyone have a pattern for this? I can't answer because I'm the designer of that pattern. I'm not allowed to say anything. So becoming a designer closed off a lot of my crochet outlets, which was really disappointing at the time, which was 3 years ago, and it still kind of hurts. So my Facebook group is really the only place I get to say my own stuff. And even in there, I've been hesitant about what can I share. Like this one. This is May not, and it's not May 1st yet. Am I allowed to show that? People want it to be a surprise. My testers, I've told them not to share it. Am I breaking my own rules? Is it helpful? Will people feel sad if they see it too soon? If I work on a blanket for 3 months because I can only crochet a stitch at a time, is 3 months too long? If I show people this thing and they're like, oh, that's lovely, can I have it? Oh no, it's not ready yet. It'll be ready in 3 months. Is that too long to wait? Because I think for some people it really is, and they won't come back in 3 months. And by the time it comes out in 3 months, they go, oh, that looks like an old pattern. I don't even care about it anymore. So, you have to balance. So I do all these things in secret and I still can't share them. It's a very weird balance. And my nose still feels funny. I have all these tiny squares, the February knot, the mini bonus squares. I'm going to make a bag. So I like making more than just blankets. And I've been making only blankets basically, or squares that aren't attached to any blankets. I have drawers and buckets full of squares. I would like to finish some of those things so they feel more like I feel more accomplished. I would like a bit of my own personal rewards, I suppose, is what I need. The business has been really fun. I'm learning so much about being a business person and, all these platforms. But every year I kind of reevaluate. So the first year I was like, whoa, I made over 200 patterns this year. And some of them are better than others. I'm allowed to say that. Some of my patterns are not that great. Either the image is boring or it came out but it had a lot of problems. I didn't have testers when I first started. It wasn't a thing for me. So I'd like to go back and fix some of that stuff. So in year 2, I was like, I need to slow down. Like 200 patterns in a whole year is too many. So I slowed way down, and that was good. And then now I've finished 3 years. Like that, I don't even know how that happened. And I slowed down even farther. So I don't exactly know the numbers of how many I did in my second year. Actually, the first year number might be wrong too. I don't memorize those things. So I did a bunch in my first year, did way less in my second, and even less in my third. So now this is me starting my 4th year of designing. What do I want to accomplish? Where am I going? Who am I in this process? Because it was really originally just me making art, and now it's become websites and business and algorithms, and it's stressful and it's not as fun as before. And I get that, sometimes businesses have to be a little less fun, but I want to reevaluate and put my focus where it needs to be to sustain my family, but also to sustain my mental health. Like that was the whole point of getting this creative outlet and having something that I can do for me. So I need to get back to that, which means I am tired of making blankets, but I will keep making some, but I want to branch out into more things. So I have those plans, but I can't even get to those plans until I finish a bunch of these blankets. I feel like that's weighing on me. They're just sitting in the background waiting. So that's kind of where I'm at. And yeah, it's a long video. I don't even know how many people will actually watch this. According to like the YouTube algorithms, I don't know how many. I have like 6.5 thousand subscribers, like 6,500 subscribers. And then when I put the subtitles on it, I do get more watches, but I'm not sure even, like, I think I'd have to post more regularly for it to be useful. And I can't talk and read my pattern at the same time, so I didn't get to crochet just now, even though I did take my stitch marker out of the project and I was prepared. So yeah, that is the plan. That is who I am, and that is what I'm doing. I feel like I'm still recovering from that sick. Our family doesn't get sick very often, and part of that's probably because we homeschool, so we're not surrounded by the kids and all those sick germs. We don't get sick very often. But this one was a doozy, and I feel like everyone is still kind of like, I don't know, like you kind of have that long-term tiredness that you're always sort of fighting just a little bit. And then, I don't know, we bought a plant. I want to use this plant. It's a giant, well, it's not that giant. It's big for me. I kill plants. We have a garden outside, but the sun and the rain takes care of a lot of it. So inside the house, I'm not good at the plant thing. And I bought this tree thing. It's a palm tree, I guess, which is not native to our area. And it apparently is unhealthy. I downloaded a free trial of a plant app, and it said that it was poor, very poor. So we'll see if it survives. I wanted it to use for like blanket images when you're taking a pretty picture of the blanket, stage them better, trying to learn how to be a photographer on top of being a designer, you know. So I don't know, we'll see. The kids have decorated the base, the bucket for the plant, and named it. So this is Coconut, the palm tree. He has a name, and his bucket is decorated with little hearts and his name tag, and I don't know what that is actually. My kids are very creative and they do these things, and it's cute and fun. But if I'm going to use the plant in a staged photo, I'll probably have to take the name tags off. I don't know. So just like random things. That goes through my head. Anyway, where am I? What am I doing? I'm going to focus. I am happy to have done this live video. I have no idea what it will translate into, but gets my words out there and I get to pretend like I'm doing things that are useful. I am going to see if I can check my website now, make sure it's working, possibly make a video tutorial for joining these squares. Last time I did a video, I think it was Instagram, and I was like, I'm going to make a tutorial for this dinosaur walkthrough, and then my kids came home and I didn't even get it started. So that's still on the list, but it's not urgent, so I'll get to it eventually. And yeah, that's basically, that's me. So if you watch it all, thank you. You are the best. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate everybody who supports me. Like, the sales are good, but I really appreciate the people who are supporting my heart. You know, the people who are kind. That's what I need, especially right now. I need the patience and the kindness, which most of you have shown, and I really love it. So thank you very much. I don't have anything to offer you right now except for the promo code in the comments and the entrance to the big giveaway. But next time, hopefully, there is a code on one of my older videos, the one right before this. It's like a 1-minute video, but in the comments, there was a code, and I think it's only good for this month, or maybe it's just this week. I can't remember what I picked. So that'll save you some on certain patterns. The next video that I put up, I'm hoping will also have a code to go with it, and then, you know, that way people can view, when you view my things, you get a gift at the end or whatever. I don't know, trying to work on things. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And if you want to connect with me, my Facebook group is currently the best way to do it. I would love it to be my newsletter, but we'll see how that goes. Definitely respond to those newsletters if you want to. I don't have a team, it's just me. So when you send me an email, it's me replying. It's really me. So yeah, and I'm gonna go do some more work. The kids may be gone for hours yet. Oh, he wasn't sure when he left this morning. He said, we'll either come after lunch or we'll go somewhere else and come after that. And I'm like, well, I guess let me know. So I'll get back to work because I can. And thank you for watching. You guys are the best. Bye.